Hello everyone, welcome back to another Mario hack. If you don't know this, pretty much how this works is I usually do these once in a while. This used to be a mainstay on my channel, but the reason I'm doing it now is usually it's because I have something to talk about, and this is kind of my way to vent. This is my own little therapy type thing we're doing. We're playing Mario and Luigi in an unknown island. Let me get some intro out of the way and we'll see what happens. Mario and Luigi have landed in a place they don't know. They will have to find a refuge. Oh, this was made by MirrorReflect, by the way, on the Super SMW. There's the word. Super Mario World place. Frozen Beginnings is where we're going. Now, the reason I came to this and whatnot is because, oh my god, yeah, let's just start with ice physics. Everyone's most favorite thing. World 1, Winterland. It's cold here. Make sure you have a sweater. I mean, I don't have a sweater, but that's okay. I usually do these because I usually have something to talk about at the time. For example, something recently has happened recently, and I wanted to talk about some things with my life and just in general and stuff and whatnot. Like, for example, something that just started recently is my 5th year of teaching. And honestly, I will say this with like the most confidence I've had ever, is I have a lot of, what am I trying to say? I have a lot of confidence in myself for this 5th year of teaching. I've been teaching, if you've been following me for a while, I teach middle school, I teach math, and I've been doing 7th grade the past couple years, and this year I actually went back to doing 6th grade, which, I mean, is probably my favorite grade to teach out of the 6th and 7th that I've done. I've never done 8th grade, and that's probably because of the content is just more, it's more enjoyable for me. Not only because it's easier, but it's also, if you can get those students to make those understandings in a quicker way, it works out really well. Now, there has been a lot, and I mean a lot of controversy with this beginning of this school year, and so I kind of wanted to talk about it on here. Now, as you know, if you've been following me, or if you ever watch my Super Mario stuff, I don't ever talk about the actual kids in general, because that's not something, one, I don't even think I'm allowed to, but two, like, I don't ever want to talk about the kids that I'm teaching. Like, that's not anything. I might mention, like, in passing by, being like, oh yeah, my kids were great today, or something like that. But more importantly, that I do want to talk about a little bit of the beginning of school, because there's been a lot of changes this year, some for the good and some for the bad and some for the, like, just in general things have changed, and I wanted to talk about that. Like, for example, last year, and actually ever since I was a little kid, so this is like 30 plus years ago or whatever. Well, okay, first of all, I'm 29, so like 20 plus years ago or whatever, but middle school and whatnot always started at 7:20 a.m. So really early in the morning, and then elementary school would be later in the day, and then high schools would also be early. And that's been like this in our district for forever, right? Like, we just, for some reason, always had the plan of older kids can get up earlier, younger kids don't have to. Pause for a second. When ninjas like the cold, no matter how hot they are. So you would think, okay, so that's how it's been for a long time. There wouldn't need to be a change. And actually there has been a change, and there's been a big one, and that's because of some stuff that happened last year. So our district is one of the biggest in the entire state I live in. Like, we have, I want to say like 200,000 kids or something crazy like that in the entire district of school that we live in, and or that we work in. And when you have something like that, one main thing you got to keep an idea of is the amount of kids you need to bus there. Like, busing is a big thing. You don't want to have to deny a student, or you don't want to have to deny a kid being able to go to a school because of where they live and whatnot. You want to always be able to give students and parents choice. And so one thing that many places do because of that is busing kids and whatnot, being able to go and take, you know, some of y'all maybe have rode a bus when you were younger. So, okay, that's even when I was little, I would ride a bus. I remember in high school, I would be the very first bus stop. So I had to get up at like, oh, my bus came at like 5:45, 6 a.m. in the morning. And then I was one of the last ones. So I ended up getting off. If my school ended at 2:20, I wouldn't be home till 3:34 or 4 o'clock. Like, it was a long time. Now, let's fast forward to last year, because I've been talking about when I was younger. Last year, we had a big problem of the lack of bus drivers that we had. There just wasn't a lot of bus drivers. And because there wasn't a lot of bus drivers, there were some kids that it took them such a long time to get to school. And I mean this as in like this was a noticeable thing that everyone realized was a problem in the schooling district, is that there were kids that just weren't making it to school even close to time. We had some kids, I know I had some kids last year that did not make it to school until 2.5, 3 hours after school had already started, which is crazy, by the way, being that they probably only lived about like half an hour away. So you have this big need of bus drivers, right? And you have this big need of, we need kids to get to school. They're not getting to school on time. Hold on a second. Remember, sweater, don't go get a cold. I don't have a sweater, sir. Unless you're going to give me a sweater power up, I don't know how you're going to help me here. Besides giving me, you know, you could have made the fire flower a sweater. Just gonna point that out. That could have been something you could have done. You know, maybe Mario wanted it. I don't know. Anyway, so you have this big need of bus drivers, right? That you would need in schools for, like, you know, to get kids to school. So what are the options you can do to, you know, entice people to become a bus driver? Obviously, you could raise wages. That's always a big thing. The same reason that they try to raise wages for like teachers and stuff, because there was a teacher shortage last year as well. But when that doesn't happen, what do you do as a break glass if necessary sort of thing? Do you like what do you do in that case? How do you solve this need when no one will come pick up the need and no one will help solve it? So our district had a plan in place, and the big plan this year was changing the school start times. They changed all the start times to the schools. What they mean is that instead of having every middle school and every high school start at 7:20, and every elementary school start at 3:20 or 3:30 or whatever, that now it's going to be staggered. Some schools start at 6:20, some schools start at 7:20, some start at 8:20, some start at whatever. Like, where now that it gives different schools different bus times and whatnot, but also you're able to stagger the kids being able to ride buses as well, so you don't have to pick up as many kids. And because you don't have to pick up as many kids, the buses will be able to get everybody to get where they're going, and kids will not be as late. The plan was in place. We had a plan last year. Like, that was a thing that a bunch of people on the board voted on and whatnot, and it was something that a lot of people were behind. Now, it also becomes the problem. Hold on. The forts are ruled by Big Boo, short, and are a pretext for autosave. Big Boo, short and are a pretext for autosave. Something's not right there, and I don't know what it is. I'm assuming it like autosaves or something. I got save states anyway, baby. That's what I do. Go in the door. Thank you. Do I just have to do a Big Boo? Oh, it's just a Big Boo. Okay. I'm fine with a Big Boo hit. I like Big Boo stuff. So basically, thank you. Oh, no, now I gotta focus. I'm trying to tell a story and you're throwing a Big Boo at me. This. Oh, you're already dead? You're already dead. I'll take that. So, the plan was in place, right? You have all these buses that are going to be at different times. You have these schools that are different times. And not only that, I'm getting over a cold, by the way, so I'm sorry if I'm coughing a little bit. Not only that, you have a lot of different people's homeschools got changed. Basically, because some people were busing an hour away or whatnot, that also contributed to like schools getting people a lot late, like people being late to school. Hold on. The castles are long and don't have a boss. Okay, so the main problem with castles is just, not a problem, but the main difficulty is the length of them. I mean, that's fine. Terrible jump by me. Aw, man, well, this is gonna be unfortunate. Wow, you get up extremely quickly, sir. Look how quickly she got up. That's crazy. So basically, uh, they tried changing the schools that people could go to, so that way students would have more of a choice, parents would have more of a choice of what they wanted to send their children to, and not only that, it would become a wow, those get up extremely quickly. Uh, but not only that, they would have the choices and they would be able to go where they wanted, and they would be able to get to school on time, which is a great, it sounds like a great plan in practice. The problem's gonna come when it actually starts like being put in place. Because obviously you can plan out something as much as you want, but there can always be um unseen difficulties. So that was at the end of last year, that was the big thing. That they were changing a bunch of schools' times, they were changing who gets to be in what school, and so you could probably guess to yourself what would be the main problem with that. And to be fair, the main problem with that is going to be a lot of confusion because people need to figure out where they're going to go. And so that, and also the new bus routes and the new buses and all that stuff, it just becomes a little bit of a pain. Now, this year, the first day of school comes along. Everyone's a little worried because people are learning their new bus stops. Kids are trying to figure out. I ran right into that. Kids are trying to figure out where they need to be, and not only that, the teachers and the staff at the school also are trying to figure out all the different like bus stuff that's happening. And I'm telling you, like the front office ladies or front office people, because they're not all ladies, but in my school they are a saving grace when it comes to the bus stuff and whatnot that's happening, because it's so much pressure. Like I saw how many people were calling the school the day of and the day before and stuff, and it was unreal. The phones never stopped ringing because parents needed to figure out how to get their children to school. And it was almost like, it wasn't bad the way they did things, it was just very congratulations, thank you, and you got like that's lovely. So it was set up and we were all ready to happen. So what happens when the first day of school comes around? Well, I guess we'll tell you about that next time when we go into the next little area. So next time it will be the second world, which is Land of Fields, I guess, World 2, and I will talk to you all then, and I'll tell you exactly how the first day of school went, which is very interesting to say the least. See you then.